in the world of AI. You need real-time data to act decisively and safely. Because if you act on wrong data, you're just running towards problems fast.
Hello and welcome to Life X Column for 2026. Now, joining me today is none other than Hanno, the CTO of Wavelo. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, today we're going to talk about how AI via event-driven data processing is reshaping network operations. Now, Hanno, shall I jump right into the first question?
Sounds good.
Now, what are the main challenges telecom operators face when trying to integrate AI and machine learning into their existing network operations and support system?
Well, a lot of telcos of a reasonable size have been around for a while, right? And they have typically multiple systems that they bought over time. And that creates fragmentation because each of those systems holds some state, some information, sometimes customer information, sometimes it's billing information. And making sense of that and making sure that between all those systems, you have a good sense of what is true at any particular time in real time, that's kind of tricky. And it's something that traditionally before AI, we worked around by hiring more people with processes and runbooks that can sort of make sense of it. Right? So if system A says something and system B says something else, a human with common sense can say, oh, or my process, my workflow says, oh, I should do this. But that gets too slow in the world of AI. You need real-time data to act decisively and safely. Because if you act on wrong data, you're just running towards problems faster, basically.
Now, building on that, or building on these challenges, how have real-time data availability and event-driven processing enable more effective AI-driven automation in telecom networks?
So if you want to get data out of these silos, these systems of records, you typically do that through some sort of a batch process. And, that used to be like once a night, you pull something or you generate a report or something like that, right? If you live in an event-driven world, what you're doing is essentially you're capturing the changes in the state of what is true in your organization, and you're broadcasting them in real time. That means that you don't need to know which systems are listening to it. That makes it future-proof. And because the broadcast is in real time, it allows you to act on it in real time. So rather than going with a batch processing system, you can really stream all those changes and consume them in the various systems, including AI systems.
Now, maybe bringing in Wavelo, looking at the role of generative AI specifically, in what ways can it enhance customer experience or operational decision-making in telecom networks? And what are the foundational capabilities are required to make those benefits achievable?
Well, if I look at Wavelo, our architecture, because of how we evolved, has always been event-driven, right? So we don't have really the silos, and then that we then need to stream the data from our data store. Our source of truth is the event store. That has a number of advantages. We use them, for example, to get a sense of what's happening in our operations, in the networks that we manage or in the billing. If there's anomalies, we have systems that can detect that, and then we use generative AI to actually explain to people what's going on. That saves a lot of time, and it sometimes also gives you a more qualitative sense of what's going on in aggregate, right? Some of the user bases that we have are pretty large, so across a population of like millions and millions of subscribers, to be at a glance have a generative AI be able to say like, most things are normal, but in this particular cohort, we're seeing problems. Or, hey, in this part of the system, we are seeing, we are seeing some things that look different than normal. Sometimes it's not even that specific, but it's just fairly good at explaining that to humans that then can act on it. So it really is the bridge between a machine learning system, automated systems, and then the humans that then can act on that and make things better. And then over time, as these systems mature, the role of the humans gets a little bit smaller or simpler, right? And automation takes over more. This evolution approach is something that that's really unlocked by an event-driven architecture in a lot of ways. Like that's what I talk about future-proofing. Because if I have two systems that I tie together, well, the moment I do that project, I need to know exactly from what is point A, what is point B, and it will only ever work for that particular thing. And if I start broadcasting events, I don't know who in the future the receiver is of this thing. Like they may use it for purposes that I have no idea about yet, right? And that's one of the things that event streams and event-driven architecture just unlocks.
Thank you so much, Hanno, for joining us here today and for sharing so much insights about how Wavelo is also adapting with Gen AI. So it's really, really cool to actually meet you and speak to you in person. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got Wavelo, winner of the Digital BSS Trailblazer Award for Performance and recipient of the Pass Mode 100. Congratulations, Wavelo.